Welcome to Cooking Common Sense. Today we're making French onion soup. One of my best friends, Michelle, asked for it, asked me to do the video, and I was really excited. I haven't done this in so long, and I forgot about how much I loved it and how easy it is and how few ingredients it takes. We're going to use butter, and we're going to use lots of onions, about 5 or 6. If you have 4, use 4. If you have 3, use 3. Use what you have. Red onions are fine. White onions are fine. I usually buy yellow onions, Spanish onions, so that's what I'm using today. Beef broth. You can also use chicken broth, vegetarian broth, stock, whatever you have. Traditionally, beef broth is used, and it tastes better in my opinion, so that's what I buy for that. Some people, French, Americans, lots of chefs use a brandy or a port. I don't use them. I have a simpler ingredient that I like. This is sherry. So they're all derivatives of wine, reduced and aged wines. Port, sherry, and cognac, and then they'll also add balsamic vinegar. I am not using any of these. I just use Worcestershire sauce. It tastes wonderful. Doesn't take very much, and I use other things like the Caesar salad dressing that we did. Salt. And I'm using Swiss cheese. The French version usually is Gruyere, which is a Swiss cheese, but it's yellow, and regular Swiss cheese is kind of white. You can use whatever you want. Mozzarella, Jack, use what's in your fridge, but I prefer Swiss for this. And then I got some bread at my local bakery. I'll probably toast it. I have used it soft and it's fine. If you have croutons, use croutons. If you're like me and you put leftover stale breads in the freezer for like French toast and stuff, now's the time to pull it out and use that. So what we want to do first is saute our onions, and it's really important that you do it in these steps because the flavor depends on it. It's the only way you get this flavor is to do it this way. So we're going to start the butter. I decided to chop up an onion. I know a lot of you probably know how to chop an onion, but I want kids to do this too. And so I'm going to show you this one time how I do it. Really quick, really easy. Just like that. They cook down really well. We're going to do what's called a sweat, and we're just going to slow cook them until all the moisture comes out and they start to turn a little clear. So let's put these in the pot. It's going to take about a half an hour. The butter was about 6 tablespoons for this. If you have a little less, use a little less. If you like a little more, use a little more. The onions absorb all the butter. I'm going to give this a little stir to distribute all the butter. The onions soak it all up. And then I'm going to turn it down to about medium-low. And we're just going to let it sit for half an hour, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what we do next. Okay, so the onions have been simmering almost 45 minutes. Really low and slow, and you can see they're really caramelized. So we're going to put in our Worcestershire. We're going to put in 3 tablespoons. If you don't have 3 tablespoons, put in 2 tablespoons. If you like more, add more. It's just a guideline. Okay, so now we're going to add our broth, and this is a quart. And I think I'm going to put in half of the other one. So that would be about 6 cups of broth. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Okay, now I'm going to let this simmer for about a half an hour to an hour, and it'll get a little bit darker, and then we will come back and we'll prepare it to go into the broiler. So we've been letting our soup simmer for about 45 minutes, and it's completely changed. It's a totally different soup than when we started. It's really important that you let it have time to simmer for a while. And we're filling up our oven-proof bowls. And then we're going to put our bread and our cheese on and stick them in the oven. Use whatever bowls you have. If you don't have any oven-safe bowls, just use some coffee mugs. It's no big deal. It's a rustic dish. It's supposed to be whatever you got. You can see all mine are different. Adds character. So I did end up adding more broth. It was about 6 cups total in the end. You could probably get away with doing all those 2 quarts because it boils down a lot. It had just been a while, so I wasn't sure how it was going to come out. Okay, so now I sliced up some French bread. And I toasted it. I decided to get fancy, and I just made some garlic bread with some butter and some garlic powder and some parsley. Didn't even use fresh garlic. And just break it up however you have to get it into the bowl. And then, like I said, we have our cheese. Gruyere is the traditional, but we're going to use Swiss cheese and be kind of liberal with it. I mean, you don't want it to be goopy, but once it starts bubbling up, it does thin out. Put a little more on that one. Perfect. So we're going to stick this under the broiler for just a couple minutes until the cheese bubbles and browns a little bit. And this is what it should look like when it's done. That's French onion soup, and it's perfect for winter. Hope you like it. Bon appetit.